Hi, my name is Jane Yuen, and I am a CPA. I have 3 tips that will guarantee to reduce your accounting fees. Before I tell you these tips, let me tell you first why I tell you this. Because I always encourage my clients to be smart about money. Reducing expenses mean more money in your pocket. Second, what I will cover in this video. I will give you 3 easy tips that anyone can use, whether you are running a business or not. 3. How do I choose these tips? By asking my clients. Yes, I believe this is the best market research. Asking real people about their real problems and find real solutions for them. And last, now, what if you apply these tips today? If you take action from these tips, you will save money immediately. Okay, now let's go through the 3 tips. Tip number 1, prepare your documents. What I mean by this, you put all the documents of the same category together, and you always separate business documents and private documents. And when you try to prove the expenses that you spend for business or for private purposes, you have to include the tax invoices. Tax invoices means they have to show the ABN of the supplier and the amount you paid and whether that amount includes GST or not. Tip number 2, you always bring the last year tax return with you. Why? Because your accountant needs a bit of history about your employment or about your business. If you claim depreciation last year or in the previous years, your accountant needs to see the depreciation schedule so that he or she can continue to claim depreciation on the same items for you. And they need to know whether you have any other carried over items, for example, capital loss that you have incurred in the past or business loss that you've had in the past. Tip number 3, always write the questions down. When you go through the documents, you always have questions that you want to ask your accountant. Always write them down so that when you go and see your accountant, you have all the questions that you need to ask him or her, and you ask them at that meeting. What happens if you forget to ask the questions? You go home and you realize that there's something that you forgot to ask, and you call them and ask them. They have to pull out your file. They have to refresh memories about you and your business. All of that will add up to the time that they spend on your file, and that means you have to pay them the money, more money, because it's more time they spend on your file, the more money they charge you. Alright, to sum up, the action steps for you from this video. Step 1, gather your documents and group them according to category. Separate business documents and private documents. Step 2, find your last year's tax return. If you can't find it, call your accountant and ask them to email you the electronic copy so that you can have it in your computer and you can print it when you need it. Step 3, write down any questions you have while you do the first 2 steps. Okay, now that's all I have for you today. If you like these tips and would like to receive more useful information from us, please give your name and email, and we promise to look after you by giving tips that will save you money. Goodbye for now.